Sorry about that. 14 hats today. I'm only wearing about 2, probably. Today we're going to talk a little bit about Queen Esther. Special thing about her, this being Mother's Day, Queen Esther is one of only 2 ladies in the Bible that have their own story. Ruth is the other one. But today we're going to focus on Esther. Tongue twister. The story about Esther is really kind of special because during my research, a lot of the people that I was listening to or watched to get information from, they all started with the same thing. So I think it's probably fitting that I do the same thing. The book of Esther doesn't mention God directly at all, whatsoever. So how did it get in the Bible? God is in the story of Esther, moving in the background. And Esther, the story of Esther is special because it's how we don't have to see God. We don't have to know that God is there directly by name. God is always moving. God is always controlling actions, whether we think he's there or not. He's always there. We might not see him, but he's still taking action and guiding us to do his will. The story of Esther starts with King Xerxes getting upset at his former queen. He summoned her, Queen Vashti, and she took the day off. She basically told King Xerxes, I don't want to come see you. And so the king got approached by his court, and the court said, well, if your wife's not going to do that, what do you think is going to happen with our wives? There's going to be an uprising, so you have to do something about this. So he did. He fired her and said, gather up all the women, and whomever I choose will be my queen. That's where Esther enters into the story. Esther was a lowly Jewish girl living in the city with her uncle, Mordecai. And Mordecai, hearing the king's decree, knew that he had to prepare Esther to go in front of the king. But Esther didn't need any beautification. She was pretty to begin with. She didn't need any adornments, any makeup, or anything like that. When the group of ladies went in front of the king saw her and said, okay, she stays, everybody else go home. Contest is over, she wins, you're with me, everybody go. That's how Esther gets to be queen. Kind of awkward, but she was just a normal Jewish girl living in Persia who got selected to be queen. The story of Esther is a little bit like a soap opera. It's been considered to be a soap opera because it's an ordinary person. There's drama all the way around. There's murder plots. There's celebrations. There's parties. There's a story. And God is in it the whole entire time. One of the biggest things that happens is King Xerxes is in session with his court, and the only way to get to see the king is to be summoned. Queen Esther knows this, and so she's doing her business as a queen, whatever she's doing. Mordecai hears about a murder plot from a guy named Haman, who's going to try and murder the Jews. And so Haman tells Queen Esther, hey, you need to go talk to the king about this. We're all Jews. If Haman's plot goes through, you're going to die. The king's going to decree that all the Jews get killed. You're a Jew. You're going to die. Queen Esther turns to Mordecai and says, do you know what's going on right now? Have you not been paying attention? He's in court right now. I can't go see him. And that's where we get to chapter 4. This is a turning point for Queen Esther. Modern technology. One more. Up until now, Mordecai has gone to Esther and told Esther about the murder plot. And this is where Esther turns to Mordecai and tells him, no way.
Esther 4:12 through 17. So they told Mordecai Esther's word, and Mordecai told them to Esther, "Do not think in your heart that you will escape in the king's palace any more than all the other Jews. For if you remain completely silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise for the Jews from another place. But you and your father's house will perish. Yet who knows whether you have come to this kingdom for such a time as this?" Then Esther told them to reply to Mordecai, "Go, gather all the Jews who are present in Shushan, and fast for me, neither eat nor drink for 3 days, night or day. My maids and I will fast likewise, and so I will go to the king, which is against the law, and if I perish, I perish." So Mordecai went his way and did according to all that Esther commanded him.
So initially she tells Mordecai, I can't go in there. And then Mordecai tells her in verse 14, you can come to the kingdom for such a time as this. That's a key turning point, because all of a sudden, this is where Esther has a choice. This is the turning point for Esther. Either she can go in front of the king and die, or she can continue to live her life and then be killed because she's a Jew. Either way it goes, she's facing death. There's no other way out. She's going to be executed either by the king or by the king's decree. And the following portion of it, she says, "Go gather all the Jews who are present and fast for me, neither eat nor drink for 3 days. My maids and I will fast likewise, and then I'll go to the king, which is against the law, and if I perish, I perish." She made her decision. If I die, I die. Whatever happens, happens. I did a little bit more research about the fasting and the preparations. Part of Jewish funeral preparations is to cleanse the body, to wash, to fast, and prepare the body for burial. She's taking 3 days to prepare herself to die. She knows she's going to die one way or the other, and she's made a decision to take a leap of faith. Next slide. The key verse is 14. "If you remain completely silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise for the Jews from another place. But you and your father's house will perish. Yet who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" That's applicable to all of us today. It's not just a Bible story. We're part of God's plan, and we're doing God's will without even realizing it. There is a point in our life where we are going to have to make a decision. Whether we think it's good or bad, we have to make a decision. We have been placed on this earth for such a time as this. We are all participants in God's plan, in God's will for eternity. We all have a decision to make. Every morning, soldiers, EMS, police, modern day heroes, they get up, they put on their uniform, they go out, they do their job. They prepare themselves to go out. But nobody, myself, Pastor Bob, any of the other retired soldiers, policemen, firemen, nobody ever prepares to die. Esther did. She knew she was going to die. There's no way around it. She took more of a leap of faith than any of us ever could. Nobody ever thinks about it. Oh yeah, today, especially with the violence with the police officers responding to a call, and they wind up getting shot at, or EMS. They go to a call and somebody comes down with a knife. Soldiers go into war. I'm just a clerk. I'm not on the front lines. Here comes a mortar shell. Nobody ever prepares for it, but Esther did. Next slide. Every day, ordinary people do extraordinary things without even realizing it. Esther prepared herself and took that leap of faith. She didn't even, the Bible doesn't say she knocked on the door. She didn't wait to be summoned. The story of Esther tells us that Esther prepared herself and then went to the courts, went in front of the king. No hesitation. Knowing that she was facing death, she still went in front of the king. That heartbeat of hesitation And the king offered the scepter to Esther and saved her life. Do we have enough strength to do that? Are we going to be able to stand up and take that step knowing we're facing death? I don't know if I could. Certain things happen in a way that's beyond our control. Sometimes things happen and we're like, I don't even know what happened, just go with it. And one of the things I picked up was a book, When God Winks at You. I got this copy from Nova. I planned on purchasing it because I found it in a bookstore, but Nova's like, no, hold on, I'll let you borrow it. This book is full of circumstances of normal people living extraordinary lives. We're all heroes. We're all superheroes. It's not just about David and Gideon and Joshua and Esther. It's not about them. It's about us. We're all superhuman. We're all doing extraordinary things. One of the stories in here, there's a pair of people. They're going out for a fishing trip. Their boat capsizes, and they're in a fog bank out in the middle of nowhere. There's no other people around. Hypothermia is kicking in, they're weakening, and one of the gentlemen called out, help us. The story says within 2 minutes, but shortly after that prayer, here comes a boat in the middle of the fog, in the middle of dead silence basically, where nobody can ever be found. A prayer is issued, and a boat comes and picks them up. Oh, by the way, that boat wasn't supposed to be there. That boat was supposed to leave earlier because of tides and weather. But they got delayed, picked them up. The name of that boat? Second Chance. The person who uttered the prayer, professed atheist who is now a street preacher because of that moment. Things happen that we just can't explain. And so we have to tell people about these things. There was a pastor who now he's a pastor of a large church in Dallas, Texas. He's a chaplain for the Mavericks, their basketball team in Texas. And he tells a story. He had to make a decision about his church. And so I'll let him speak.
So we went to the vote to see how the vote would come out on us staying because we didn't have anywhere to go with 100 or 200 members. Another story. When we first were starting our church and growing our church, we were in a school. The school board said we had to leave. We appealed to them for 6 more months. They said they had to vote on it. So we went to the vote to see how the vote would come out on us staying because we didn't have anywhere to go with 100 or 200 members. And as we were there, we were waiting and waiting. We waited an hour and a half, me and the assistant pastor. We waited an hour and a half for nothing. Finally, one of the ladies came out who was on the board. And she said, 2 of our members are missing. And we've been waiting for them to come, but they have not arrived. So we decided to go ahead and vote. And we voted 5-4 for you to stay the extra 6 months. Well, the 2 who were missing were 2 who were against us. Once she came out and told us that, the 2 rushed in. The 2 had driven together to come to the meeting. When they got to the exit of the meeting, there was an accident. The accident blocked the highway for an hour and a half. They missed the vote. We got to stay. Yeah, Esther was a diva. She had it going on.
How do you explain these things that happen? You can't. It's God's will. It's also been called providence, which is a whole other part of a whole other sermon that I don't have time for. But it's basically God's will to move behind the scenes. He doesn't always have to be forefront. He picks and chooses people to work for him. And just like when Mordecai told Esther, you've been put in this position to do just this. But later on, he cautions Esther too, and we have to heed that same caution. Mordecai tells Esther, if you don't do it, then God will choose somebody else. So that hard right that you have to make instead of that easy left, maybe you might be better off choosing that hard right. This weekend, talking with Bob at Common Grounds, one of the things that was brought up was the paths we walk. Do we walk the wide and fast with everybody else? Or do we walk the straight and narrow that's full of twists and turns and things we don't know? But God sees where it ends. God knows where it's going, and he wants us to take that small path. But we choose to stay on the wide path because it's safer. God always knows the outcome. And I'm first in line when it comes to holding back. But God doesn't want us to hold back. God wants us to be like Esther and prepare ourselves to die and then take that leap of faith and watch God catch us. And go on to do mighty and great things. Everybody heard some prayer? Lord, thank you for this time we've had together. Thank you for the words that we've heard today. Thank you for your message about how you care for us and are walking with us. And you know where you're leading us, whether we don't. Give us the faith to step out and take that leap and let you catch us and deliver us to where we need to go. And all these things we stand.
Thank you, Jason. God working behind the scenes. God knowing the end from the beginning. The story we hear over and over and over again. And it never gets old because it's what sees us through. You know, Jesus was fully reliant upon God. And he was the one person on earth that could see through God's eyes all the time. And he knew the end from the beginning. He knew where the path led. And he shared that with his closest disciples and with us. See, because on the night of the Last Supper, when they all gathered together for what they thought was a feast, Jesus knew the end from the beginning. He knew where God was leading him. And much like Queen Esther, Jesus was preparing his disciples and himself for his impending death, his sacrifice.